Good evening, everybody. We are live from the Pix 11 studios right here on 42nd Street, and this is a big show. A lot of news to cover when it comes to public housing in NYCHA and our city and politics, but it's really always about the people, isn't it? The people suffering in public housing. And we just found out earlier today that the NYCHA CEO would be stepping aside and becoming the chair, and there would be a new interim CEO coming in. And as you know, I called Greg Russ immediately. He confirmed the news, and he said that he would be a big part of the federal transition for the trust. So he's not going away anytime soon. His salary is changing quite a bit, but he is going to stay very active in public housing. Now, does this have to do with something about the Jacob Riis Houses? For weeks now, my colleagues Henry and McGee Hickey have been covering this story nonstop. And as you know, the water woes, the water issues that we've been covering at the Jacob Riis Houses with arsenic. Does it have arsenic? Does it not? Well, the mayor says it's safe to drink. He even drank it and gave us this statement saying, I know the last 8 days have been unbearable for the residents of the Jacob Riis Houses, but this morning, the New York City Department of Health and Mental Hygiene reviewed the final test results for contaminants and found the water to be well within EPA drinking water quality standards. We can confidently say the water at Riis Houses is and has been free of any discernible amount of arsenic since the initial tests were initiated in August, and meets EPA standards. Will continue to be transparent about the information we receive and have already publicly released all the arsenic reports, both true and what we know to be false. We'll also work to get any remaining reports on contaminants mentioned yesterday up online as soon as possible. Thank you to Mayor Adams for that. And we've been in contact with the federal monitor. Joining me now, we know him. We see him on TV probably more than anybody, fighting for the rights of so many families across our city. But now he's fighting for Rebecca Perkins. And you said now 70, is that right? 70 residents?
71 being represented by my office.
It's been a complete, I just want your reaction right now to what, the CEO, they're saying it was planned about a month ago. It was part of the trust transition. What do you have to say about that?
What I have to say is it really doesn't matter. What matters is that somebody get in there and get to the bottom of what happened here. Was there arsenic in the water? Wasn't there? If there was, then let's hope no one gets sick. And if they do, let's make sure it doesn't happen again. If there wasn't, why do they issue a report and bring water to this? I mean, at the end of the day, someone's responsible, whether it's the housing authority, the city, the company that did the testing. Someone has to be held accountable. There are people who live at this complex that are afraid of getting sick. They're afraid to shower. They're afraid to drink. They're still afraid. So even the fear of disease is actionable. But at the end of the day, this is another example of something that never should have happened.
$10 million, that's per person, possibly?
Well,
we're talking class action? What are we talking about?
We filed the first land for $10 million. You always look at worst case scenario. What if he does get very sick? I mean, that's sort of like a obligation you have as a lawyer to look at the worst case scenario and file for that. Ultimately, a jury will decide what all these victims are entitled to, whether it's entitled to damages for fearing getting sick or actually if they do get sick, because we don't know yet.
Now, Christine Garcia is watching, and she's saying her family is there. Somebody needs to do something, my grandkids and my kids. Speaking to one of your clients, she said it was only until the legal action happened and the media attention. Now, Mayor Adams seems very angry publicly that this is happening. What do you think? What do you think the next steps are for the city, and what should be the next steps for the city?
I'm sorry, if that's to me, I just want to say we try to shine a light on injustice. So yeah. I mean, that's what we do, okay? And I think we're doing it here, but the problem still exists. People are still afraid. How do you come out with one day saying arsenic in the water, don't drink it, and the next day saying, oh, it was a mistake? Well, at the end of the day, someone is responsible for this.
And as you know, we've covered lead poisoned children for years, and lawyers have stepped in, and there was a lot of action, including legislation and legal lawsuits. And it always seems like the combination of strong tenant leadership and legal action and the media is the combination to get social change. I want to toss to Henry Rossoff, my colleague, who did a fantastic job on the ground talking to residents about exactly what you were saying, the lack of trust.
Do you believe things will get better?
No. I don't trust NYCHA. I never did it my whole life.
We found not a single resident of Riis Houses who thought Gregory Russ stepping down as NYCHA's CEO but remaining the chairman of the Public Housing Authority would make a difference in their daily lives.
I've spent a lot of time and I've seen a lot of housing.
Hired almost 3 years ago by Mayor de Blasio, Gregory Russ was controversial from the start. He at times worked remotely from his Minneapolis home and came in with a reputation for partnering with private industry to manage and fix public housing. Earlier this week, Mayor Adams telegraphed coming leadership changes while being peppered with questions about the Riis Houses arsenic water debacle.
We know there's new leadership that's about to take place in NYCHA, and we are looking at exactly what happened here.
Adams was then asked if he'd hold someone accountable for the water scare.
Yes.
Current NYCHA General Counsel Lisa Bova-Hyatt will serve as interim CEO, and neighbors at Reese tell us she needs to understand that fixing NYCHA goes well beyond what happened with the water here.
The living room.
Richard Lopez showed us pictures of long-standing repairs that need to be made inside his apartment, and all of the tickets NYCHA workers closed without even showing up to do anything. Lopez has a seizure condition and has canceled doctor's appointments just to wait.
They say, Mr. Lopez, we gonna be there, we gonna be there. They never show.
Well-known attorney and fighting for social justice for so many families across our city, Sanford Rubenstein is joining us. Thank you for joining us live and taking questions. We have so many questions from people, specifically people who live at Jacob Riis are watching right now. What do you want to tell them direct?
Well, I want to tell them if they want to pursue legal action, they have to file a notice of claim within 90 days. And whether it's me or another lawyer, they can help you file that and file it for you. But you got to file a notice of claim to start with. Who's ultimately responsible here? We'll find out. I think the company that did the testing, obviously, is a significant potential defendant in an actual lawsuit. We may even join the city in that lawsuit. Bottom line is, not only do we want justice for the victims in terms of damages, we want to know how this happened in the first place so it doesn't happen again.
Is this the tip of an iceberg? Because when we did the lead poisoned children and we were uncovering one more family, is this gonna be a big, I mean, across several NYCHA developments, in your opinion? Have you heard from any other developments? Is there anything you can tell us?
Time will tell. Time will tell.
That sounds awfully like you have heard from other developments.
That's leading.
Okay, well, let us know, because I know we've covered stories about cloudy water and issues with water all across the city, from Coney Island to Brooklyn.
Look, maybe this will help focus on the real problems in these housing authority complexes. They're old. I lived in them when they were brand new. When I was a kid, they were brand new. We lived there. They're old. They haven't been taken care of. Someone's got to come and fix everything.
That's right. And Callista actually says exactly what you're saying. They found in NYCHA's East River Houses some problems. And in New York, there are countries that better handle water issues. I don't get why this is even possible. We're thinking New York City, the richest city in the world, is having these kind of issues. You don't think of New York City and thousands of families in New York City living like this.
If you're looking for a comment, you're absolutely right. I mean, you're preaching to the choir.
Exactly. So now tell me the next steps. I mean, we have Rebecca joining us here. Rebecca is one of your clients. I mean, how long does this take? You said within 90 days you file. Then what's next?
After filing a notice of claim, the authority is entitled to take testimony under oath. And you have a hearing. After that, file a lawsuit. Who that lawsuit will include as a defendant depends on who the investigation of who was responsible for this and what really happened here is completed. So that's when you file, and then you go through the discovery process and ultimately end up in court on trial if it doesn't resolve itself before.
Now, just before I go to Rebecca, why take on something like this? You are a very famous lawyer here in New York City. We all know you. We've worked with you for years on other issues. What moved you? Was it watching the news? Was it watching how these families had questions and were very upset and angry? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah. Why take on this?
I can help you with that. She was a prior client of my office.
Oh,
And she was
okay.
happy, and she was happy, so she came back, right?
Ah, got it. So you knew her from before, from other issues, because there's so many people watching, with so many, a range of issues of flooding, of other, like it's not just the water for them. It's chronic problems with ticket closing, flooding, all sorts of mold, causing asthma in their children. What do you suggest to them?
Is that addressed to me?
Yes.
Oh, look, if you feel that there is a damage you suffered because of mold, because of a ceiling that caves in, talk to a lawyer, and you may have a right to damages. But again, you have to file within 90 days, or your rights are sort of given away.
Rebecca, you walked us through, why you did this. It was Friday when you saw a group of people very scared, and then they pretty much just told you on the street there. And how was that when you found out that there's possibly arsenic in your water? I mean, you must have been devastated.
I was scared. I was really scared because I didn't know what's going to happen next. So yes, I was very afraid.
And now that this back and forth, and now the CEO has shifted, so much has happened. What's your reaction to the city's response? The fact that they're saying there isn't arsenic in your water. How do you feel about all of this back and forth?
I don't trust them. I don't believe them. I feel like when they first told us about it, it was very unorganized. It was just like, the water has arsenic. Don't drink it. But bathe with it and clean and wash your clothes. But you can't do nothing else with it. And it's like, well, when did you find this out? How did this happen? And there was no answers. Just come get you a case of water, and that's it.
Now, if you could talk directly to the mayor, if you could talk directly to NYCHA, what would you say?
Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. How dare y'all? That's what I would say.
And your family, how are you dealing with it? Bottled water? I mean, are you keeping your children away from the tap?
Yes, but it's hard because, when you're accustomed of doing a normal routine, sometimes you could slip up. And then, when the news first broke out that the water has arsenic in it, and then you do your Google research on it, and it has so much scary results, you're thinking, am I going to die? My nephew was over here and he's 6. And the first thing he said was, I'm not ready to meet Jesus. I don't want to die. Him and my daughter's 8.
He said that, and he's 6 years old. He said that to you.
My nephew, 6 years old. They was like, we just did a water challenge. I'm scared. I don't want to die. He's like, I don't want to meet Jesus. I'm like, calm down. No one's going to die. Just relax. Because, we reading it out loud and not, watching out for the kids that's hearing us what we're reading. Automatically, they scared for their life. And I was scared too because I didn't have answers. And my kids are asking me questions that I don't have answers to. And then when I go to NYCHA, they have no answers. All they saying is come downstairs and get a 12 case of water or canned water.
Yeah, the reaction is, and Elle is joining us. What are people saying online?
So earlier in the week, we posted video of Mayor Adams going to the Jacob Riis houses and testing water and drinking it from the faucet. We got more than 800 comments on social media of that interaction, of people sounding off on it. Rebecca, some questions for you coming in. Did this make you feel any more comfortable?
No. And if you look at him, he looks nervous drinking the water. What is one glass of water going to do with somebody's been digesting 8 glass for 8 years or maybe decades or months of drinking this water? What is one glass of water going to do? You're not showing me nothing.
I want to ask your lawyer, what do you think of this when you saw the mayor drinking the water?
Look, I thought that it would be most appropriate for them to get to the bottom of what's going on. The mayor drinking the water, it's a nice photo op. But at the end of the day, someone's got to get to the bottom of what really happened here. How did thousands of residents be told there's something like arsenic in the water, and then there not be arsenic in the water? How did this happen? We've got to get to the bottom of it.
What do you want to tell people? Any legal advice if they're watching?
File a notice of claims. Protect your interest in whatever case you may have. File a notice of claim within 90 days. That's the important message.
And I have to say, again, to Rebecca, you're so brave, and for you to come forward and to fight for your family. What do you want to say to specifically NYCHA residents watching right now?
Know your rights.
And don't be afraid, right?
I can't tell them not to be afraid if I'm still afraid. I really can't tell them that. Just know your rights, and we're going to get through this. We are, because we are people and we deserve answers, and we just don't. You can't tell me that you're going to make me feel comfortable by telling me the lab was inaccurate. No, that doesn't make me, because that's the same lab that told me it was arsenic in the water than Legionella. Like, I don't trust you. For all I know, you're just saying that so we could just calm down. But we're not calm. We're not. There's no trust here.
In closing, remember 9/11? Whitman was the Environmental Protection Agency director. Oh, the air is safe to breathe. Breathe the air. Breathe the air. Thousands died of cancer. The public doesn't trust government.
No.
Do you think there'll be thousands?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm just relating back then to what happened in terms of the fact you have a high elected official saying it's safe and it wasn't safe, clearly. So we, at this point, everybody's looking at the situation and probably shaking their head saying, I don't know, what do I do? I'm not getting bottled water anymore. Do I drink the water now? And how long does it take if the water did have arsenic for it to come up in your system? And, it's a technical aspect also of, finding out medically if you get sick or not. Maybe you don't get sick right away. But at the least, there's a fear of getting sick that existed of the residents who live there. And I think that's actionable for damages.
Yeah, never seen anything like this, but any final thoughts? I'm going to start with you, Rebecca. Final thoughts for someone watching tonight.
Basically, I'm sorry that we're going through this. And I don't know.
Yeah, Cicely Brown is sending you lots of love, saying, well said, Rebecca, know your rights and fight. Mm-hmm. And, everyone knows you. Mr. Rubenstein, everyone knows that you're fighting for justice. Will there be justice? Are you confident?
We never know. We'll see. But I want to thank you as the media for keeping your eye on this issue. Because sometimes things go away too quickly in the media. And you're keeping your eye on this by even having this show today. And I want to thank you for that.
Oh, yeah, we're going to stay on it. And we've committed to public housing for years now, every single day, telling your stories. And we're going to continue to do that. And thank you. Thank you for both being on our show tonight. I think we broke some news about just the extent of the lawsuit and how it's growing and how to know your rights. We're always here for you. We're making it happen. Make sure to watch it 4, 5, 6, and 10. Good night.